Yeah, so at the very end, first of all, there's lasers from his tails at one point, which is super cool.
Yeah.
But there's also a focus a little bit before that when he's frozen in the statue form, which we didn't even mention that, by the way.
Oh yeah, he did get frozen. That's the coagulation.
So
did
he's
work.
still there.
No, even before that though, when he was cooling down for like 15 days to charge up his power, you see his tail falter. And I did interpret that as like, oh, he's just activating again.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's some focus on that tail deliberately pointed at that point to start foreshadowing what happens at the end, which is fucking just describe what you see.
Yeah, so we've got his tail sticking up into the air.
Yeah.
And you see these little, like, things coming out of it. And at first you just think it's...
I thought spikes.
Yeah, I thought it was just spikes coming out.
Yeah.
But it ends up looking more humanoid.
Oh, fuck, man.
They
chills just thinking about this.
Yeah, so if
God,
Godzilla had, like, with a human, that's what would be there.
Yeah, that's...
No, because it, had humanoid, body, head,
yeah.
but it had a tail, it had the dorsals and the spikes.
Uh-huh.
So, and if you watch, there's one part in the movie where they mention that Godzilla is capable of asexual reproduction.
And, they do mention that.
Yeah, and this is exactly what that is. It was reproducing.
And the thing, so the thing that's interesting about it too is that if you look back at the design of Godzilla they were originally trying to do in concept art form, they were trying to make a Godzilla that had like a humanoid head, more humanoid features back in the day. Like I watched the documentary, go check it out. I think it's on the Long Take. There's a channel on YouTube.
Might be a short take.
I'll try to show it here on cam with of course credits to the channel. Yeah. But there is emphasis that they originally wanted to design was that Godzilla looked more human than he did like later on when she looked more like a cat / lizard / whale. Yeah. And I think this is gonna be really wild, but I think this is an Anno ending. This is a mindfuck.
Oh
ending.
yeah.
This is Anno. This is a Gainax ending to the max. For
this is robots jumping off.
This is basic Segoy Squad right now.
Robots jumping off and throwing galaxies.
Oh man, that'd be fucking incredible. Let's have Gurren just fight this Godzilla baby thing.
It would win, I think.
I think my interpretation here,
that's
guys.
Another video.
You guys can talk about yours as well. My interpretation is it goes back to. I'm gonna spoil Ava. Sorry if you haven't seen that.
That's fine.
Ava is all about the dissolution of human barriers, right? It's all about the LCL fluids. Like everyone dissolves into that by the end of Evangelion, the movie. And again, I think Anno's trying to specify that, or not specify, but explore that at least in a visual way by showcasing that this Godzilla, who looked really deteriorated at first, may actually be somewhat human. That's my theory as well.
Yeah,
I think Godzilla may not be like this iguana that everyone tries to think of, like this radioactive iguana. I think that he just assimilates any organic matter, and he made these weird hybrids based on all the death and the organic matter that he was collecting. And maybe that was the reason why he was on land, beyond just feasting on nukes. Maybe you need to collect organic matter, and he sought humans, which was the highest.
So this would be sort of his mating ritual.
He's making them in their image, like Godzilla. That's the weird part too. He's making human. This goes really far. This goes into again. I think Anno just did this. I don't know. I honestly don't think this is fucked up to say. I don't know how well thought he actually thought of this compared to like something like Ava. It seems kind of ham-fisted a bit.
It seems like it's going a little bit too far, but I can see those connections. I don't.
What do you think? As a fellow Ava expert,
I don't think it's gonna be this that he's absorbing organic matter. I think he's just. It's the same way that.
Why are they so humanoid though? It's bizarre. It makes no sense unless he's half human or like some capacity of humans inside of him.
I think because they talked about it being the pinnacle of evolution.
Yeah.
At first, it's just because it's so strong, and what's the next step in evolution is intelligence.
Right.
That's why we're apparently the ones destroying the world. So he's destroying all
the highest
this.
form of intelligence. You can reference that.
Yeah. So
times.
his evolution maybe he becomes smaller, but he becomes more intelligent while still retaining some of that strength. Trying to find that middle ground between brain and brawn, I think that's where the evolution is striving towards. Which I think is very similar to Ava because it's just they're getting attacked by this other thing and they need to conquer it back.
Totally, I can see
the angels. And even in that they conquer, they fight back against the angels by using the angels, because using humanity.
Yeah, because the weirdest part about Evangelion is that humanity is like the 18th angel. Like humanity is one of the monsters in the lore of Evangelion,
both metaphorically and
literally. Literally,
because
like, there's different life forms.
Yeah.
We're giving you Ava 101, Daniel.
Apparently,
we're giving you like
this
really
is the small
stuff.
part of it too.
So
we haven't even gone to the ancient civilization that created the forbidden fruit and like made
okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna get too far.
We haven't got that far, but
it relates to Assassin's Creed.
Oh god,
I'm kidding.
We have to go collect all the fucking feathers to make the complete puzzle for the cutscene.
Yeah, I want to get that one rapier. Wait.
I don't like the way you pronounce that.
No.
Anyways, so I think those design of those creatures as well. They had this dorsal fins, right?
Yeah.
They had the humanoid skull. They had humanoid features, everything. But like you said, that weird combination of the mutation of a human and the brain and brawn situation. But do you feel like? So do you think his ultimate goal? The more I think about it, was what we referenced earlier, where he's defensive, or Godzilla.
It's instinctual.
It's instinctual.
That's what I think. I think
is it coming onto land to birth? Like, is it trying to give birth? That's my question. I honestly think that was it. It was coming up on land.
It's
to
probably
give birth.
original intention wasn't that, because we saw it basically was kind of like in a pre-evolutionary state where it was just like, I'm basically born. I'm trying to just like
I can
live.
walk now. That's what I imagine at one point.
Yeah, but then later on, where it's like if the Godzilla, quote unquote, was made to be, it self-preservates.
Yeah.
Then it would want to try and
reproduce.
Yeah. In
it
some
went
way.
through the life cycle. It
Yeah.
really did in a rapid span of 15 weeks. Like almost that 15-day period. Not 15 weeks, by the way, earlier, but that 15-day period. Maybe
like a cocoon.
Was it like some sort of gestation?
Maybe it was
period?
gestation. Exactly. I like our theory of the fact that it's going on land to go through the entire life cycle. Like that. Maybe its life cycle is deep sea, then land, and then birth, and then death. Probably, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe it just live, but.
Because evolution was a huge thing they touched on.
The implications here is incredible.
And like he stands up and he physically evolves in front of everybody. His arms come out. So it's not too crazy to assume.
I think we're on the money that it's definitely part of the biological life cycle of any organism is to reproduce.
They talk about the Godzilla that you see in the trailers being his fourth evolution. I don't understand how they...
evolution.
Yeah, I don't know. But also I don't know how they would know it's its fourth evolution.
Right.
And how the other one was its first.
It wasn't like they had a fucking GoPro behind Godzilla while he was
the entire time.
So these little Godzillas that are coming out of his tail, maybe that's the first step. And it's just redoing it again. And, or it finally... Or finally, like there was one of those in the beginning and it just grew from the nuclear waste. Yeah. And then now it's just restarting its cycle. We need to think of a name for those things.
They're not going to be as bad as the Zilla babies, the Velociraptors.
No.
But what would be a good name for them? I don't know what to call them. Spinies? No.
Spinies?
No. Spinies.
Tailsperms?
Hey, how about this? In the comments, if anyone's watched this far, which no one has... Maybe I'll separate this into the specific ending talk. I'll do the separate video, but put in the comments what your name would be, and maybe we'll give you something.
What would you name the Godzilla babies?
What would you name the Godzilla baby mutant thingies?